Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. Have you ever met someone who always has an excuse? Someone who never takes responsibility for their failures, their mistakes, or even their circumstances? They blame their parents, their boss, the government, the economy, or even the weather. But let me tell you something. Until we stop blaming everyone else, we will never have control over our own lives. Because here's the truth. As long as someone else is responsible for your failures, they must also be responsible for your success. And that's a dangerous way to live. The moment you take full responsibility for your life, everything changes. It's like flipping a switch. Suddenly you realize that you are in control. Not your circumstances, not other people, not luck or fate. When you acknowledge that your current situation is a result of your own choices, you unlock the ability to shape your future. Responsibility is not a burden, it is the greatest power you have. It means that you are the driver, not the passenger. And the truth is, as long as you keep blaming others, you stay stuck. Think about it. If someone else is the reason for your failure, then by that logic, they must also be the key to your success. That's a dangerous place to be, because it means you're waiting for someone else to fix your problems, to give you a break, or to change your life. But that's not how success works. The people who achieve great things in life don't wait for permission. They don't waste time blaming others for their setbacks. They take full ownership of their journey. Taking responsibility means recognizing that while you may not have control over everything that happens to you, you do have control over how you respond. You didn't choose your childhood, but you choose how you move forward. You didn't create the economy, but you choose how you adapt. You may not control what people say about you, but you control how you react. When you shift your mindset from blaming to owning, you go from being powerless to powerful. Let's say a man loses his job. He has two options. He can blame his boss, blame the company, blame the economy, or even blame his coworkers. He can tell himself that life is unfair, that people are against him, that the system is rigged. And while some of that might even be true, none of it will change the situation. The more he blames, the less he does to fix the problem. The other option, he takes responsibility. He asks himself, what could I have done differently? Maybe he could have improved his skills, networked more, or provided more value. Maybe he sees this as an opportunity to start his own business or switch careers. The difference isn't in what happened to him, it's in how he responds. One mindset leads to complaining, frustration, and staying stuck. The other leads to action, growth, and new possibilities. Here's a short but powerful example. Two brothers grow up in the same household with an alcoholic father. One of them becomes an alcoholic, struggling in life, and when asked why, he says, because my father was an alcoholic. The other brother becomes highly successful, disciplined, and completely avoids alcohol. When asked why, he gives the same answer. Because my father was an alcoholic. Two people, same circumstances, but opposite outcomes. Why? One blamed his circumstances, the other took responsibility for how he responded. Responsibility isn't about guilt or shame. It's not about beating yourself up for past mistakes. It's about recognizing that from this moment forward, you are in charge of your life. The past is done. What happens next is up to you. The moment you stop blaming and start owning, you step into a new level of freedom. You stop waiting and you start doing. You stop complaining and you start changing. And that, my friends, is the mindset that leads to success. Excuses are easy to make, but they don't change your situation. They don't pay the bills, they don't improve your life, and they certainly don't create success. The world doesn't reward explanations. It rewards results. You can tell yourself 100 reasons why something didn't work out, but at the end of the day, none of those reasons put food on the table or move you forward. What separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck is a simple truth. Winners find solutions while losers find excuses. It's tempting to justify failure. It's comfortable to blame the economy, the government, your boss, or bad luck. But excuses do nothing for you except give you temporary relief from responsibility. They allow you to avoid the discomfort of admitting that you could have done more, tried harder, or taken a different approach. But here's the problem. As long as you allow yourself to make excuses, you also allow yourself to stay in the same place. Successful people don't have fewer problems. They just refuse to let those problems define them. They face obstacles just like everyone else, but instead of saying, I can't because, they ask, how can I? Instead of complaining, they strategize. Instead of accepting defeat, they adapt. The person who always has an excuse never improves because they've already convinced themselves that improvement is out of their control. Imagine two salespeople working for the same company. Both are struggling to meet their quotas. The first one says the market is bad right now, people aren't buying, and our prices are too high. He believes these are valid reasons for his poor performance, so he does nothing differently. He waits for the economy to change, for the customers to suddenly start spending more, or for the company to lower its prices. But nothing changes. The second salesperson, facing the exact same challenges, takes a different approach. He says the market is tough, so I need to be better. Maybe I need to sharpen my sales skills, make more calls, or find creative ways to add value to my customers. Instead of using the economy as an excuse, he uses it as motivation. A year later, the first salesperson is still struggling, still complaining, still blaming outside factors. The second salesperson, he's striving because he found a way instead of an excuse. Excuses don't just stop you from succeeding, they create a habit of mediocrity. The more you justify failure, the more you accept it as normal. And the more you accept it, the harder it becomes to break free. You start expecting less from yourself. And soon you settle for a life that is far below your potential. The moment you decide to eliminate excuses, you force yourself to take action. Think about it. Any great athlete, entrepreneur, or leader, none of them got to where they are by making excuses. Michael Jordan didn't say, I didn't make my high school basketball team, so I guess I'm not good enough. No, he worked harder. Oprah Winfrey didn't say, I was born into poverty, so success is impossible for me. No, she kept pushing forward. The most successful people in the world have faced challenges just like you, if not worse. But instead of using those challenges as reasons to stop, they use them as reasons to rise. Excuses may give you comfort in the moment, but they steal your future. If you don't have the money you want, the career you want, or the life you want, ask yourself, am I making excuses? Or am I making progress? Because you can't do both. The good news is the day you stop making excuses is the day you start creating results. And results are what change your life. Life is not fair. That's a fact. Some people are born into wealth while others struggle just to get by. Some have supportive families while others face constant adversity. Some get opportunities handed to them while others have to fight for every inch of progress. But here's the truth. Complaining about unfairness won't change your situation. Dwelling on what you didn't get, what went wrong, or how the odds are stacked against you won't move you forward. The sooner you accept that life is unfair and decide to rise anyway, the sooner you take control of your destiny. Many people waste years resenting the unfairness of life. They focus on how others had it easier, how they were dealt a bad hand, or how circumstances made success more difficult for them. But no one ever won a race by looking at someone else's lane. Success doesn't go to the person who had the easiest path. It goes to the person who refuses to quit, no matter how difficult their path is. The difference between successful people and those who stay stuck is not the level of fairness they experience, but how they respond to unfairness. One person faces a challenge and sees it as an excuse to give up. Another person faces the same challenge and sees it as fuel to push harder. Your response to adversity determines your outcome. If you spend your energy complaining, you have nothing left for improving. But if you channel that energy into action, you gain power over your own future. Let's take an example. Imagine two students growing up in the same tough neighborhood. The schools are underfunded, crime is high, and opportunities seem scarce. One student says, the system is broken. I don't have the same advantages as other kids, so what's the point of trying? He gives up before he even starts. He stops studying, stops dreaming, and accepts a life of struggle. The other student sees the same challenges, but makes a different decision. He says, yes, this isn't fair, but that just means I have to work harder, be smarter, and push myself beyond what's expected. He studies late into the night, seeks out mentors, and finds a way to create opportunities. Years later, one is still stuck in the same place, blaming his circumstances. The other has built a successful life, not because life was fair, but because he refused to let unfairness define him. History is filled with people who turned unfairness into greatness. Oprah Winfrey was born into poverty, faced abuse, and had every reason to believe life was against her. But instead of focusing on the unfairness, she focused on what she could do. Today, she's one of the most influential women in the world. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison for fighting against an unjust system. He could have become bitter, angry, or given up. Instead, he used those years to strengthen his mind and spirit, and when he was released, he changed a nation. These people didn't succeed because life was fair to them. They succeeded because they refused to let life's unfairness stop them. The truth is, no matter how unfair life is, you still have choices. You can let unfairness be your excuse, or you can let it be your reason. You can complain, or you can adapt. You can stay bitter, or you can get better. The world does not reward those who complain about injustice. It rewards those who overcome it. So what will you do? Will you wait for life to be fair, or will you decide to rise in spite of it? Because the moment you stop waiting for fairness and start taking action is the moment you take control of your life. The choice is yours. Your mindset is the foundation of everything you do. It determines how you see the world, how you respond to challenges, and ultimately whether you succeed or fail. The truth is, most people don't fail because they lack talent, resources, or opportunities. They fail because of how they think. They have a mindset that keeps them stuck. One that looks for reasons why things won't work instead of searching for solutions. If you want to change your life, you must first change your mindset. A weak mindset focuses on problems, while a strong mindset focuses on possibilities. People with a weak mindset see obstacles as signs to stop. They say, I can't do this because it's too hard. I don't have enough money, or I wasn't given the right opportunity. They believe their circumstances control them, so they never take control of their circumstances. But people with a strong mindset think differently. They don't ask, can I do this? They ask, how can I do this? They believe that effort, learning, and persistence will create opportunities. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They create them. Your mindset also affects how you deal with failure. Some people see failure as proof that they aren't good enough, that they should quit. They take one loss and decide they'll never win. But successful people see failure as a lesson, as part of the process. Every mistake teaches them something. Every setback is a stepping stone. They don't fear failure, they use it to improve. Thomas Edison, when working on the light bulb, failed over 1,000 times. But he didn't see it as failure. He said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That is the power of mindset. The person who believes failure is the end will never succeed. The person who believes failure is a lesson will always keep growing. Let's take a real world example. Imagine two people who want to start a business. The first person has a fixed mindset. He says, I don't know enough. I don't have the right connections. And I'm afraid of losing money. Because of this mindset, he never takes action. He stays in the same job, dreaming about success, but never making an effort to achieve it. The second person has a growth mindset. He says, I may not know enough now, but I can learn. I may not have connections, but I can build them. I may lose money, but I can find a way to recover. He takes action, learns from his mistakes, and keeps pushing forward. 5 years later, one person is still stuck in the same job, complaining about why success is impossible. The other person is running a thriving business, not because he had more resources, but because he had the right mindset. Your mindset also controls how you handle criticism. Some people take every negative comment personally. If someone tells them they aren't good enough, they believe it. They stop trying because they fear judgment. But people with a strong mindset don't let others dictate their success. They take constructive criticism as feedback and ignore negativity that doesn't serve them. They understand that no one ever became great by listening to doubters. Changing your mindset is the first step to changing your results. If you believe that your potential is limited, then it will be. If you believe that hard work, persistence, and learning will take you further, then they will. The greatest achievements in history didn't come from people who made excuses. They came from people who believed that their effort would make a difference. So ask yourself, what kind of mindset do you have? Are you letting doubt, fear, or negativity hold you back? Or are you deciding to see obstacles as opportunities, failures as lessons, and hard work as the key to success? Because the moment you change your mindset, you change your life. Success is not a matter of luck, fate, or circumstances. It's a choice. At some point, every person who has achieved greatness made a decision. They decided that no matter how difficult things got, no matter what obstacles stood in their way, they would not stop until they reached their goals. The truth is, nothing in life changes until you decide to change it. No one else is going to do it for you. No one is coming to rescue you. The only person who can turn your life around is you. And it all starts with one decision, the decision to take responsibility, to take action, and to never look back. The reason so many people stay stuck in the same place year after year is that they never fully commit. They say they want success, but they don't make the firm decision to pursue it, no matter what. Instead, they wait for the right time, the right conditions, or the right opportunity. But waiting is the enemy of progress. If you wait for everything to be perfect before you start, you'll never start at all. Successful people don't wait. They decide. They take the first step even when they don't have all the answers. They move forward even when they feel uncertain because they understand that action creates opportunities, while hesitation creates regrets. One of the biggest differences between those who succeed and those who don't is their ability to make a firm decision and stick to it. Think about a person who decides to get in shape. One person makes a weak decision. They say, I'll try to eat better and exercise more. That sounds nice, but it's not a real decision. It's just a wish. So when temptation comes, when they feel tired, when they don't see immediate results, they quit. On the other hand, another person makes a strong decision. They say, I am going to transform my body. I will work out 5 times a week, no matter what. I will follow a strict diet, no excuses. That kind of decision leaves no room for quitting. When temptation comes, they don't give in because they've already committed. That's the difference between those who achieve their goals and those who keep starting over. Let's take a powerful example. Imagine 2 people working at the same company. Both are frustrated with their jobs and dream of starting their own businesses. The first person says, I really want to start my own business, but I don't know where to begin. I don't have enough experience, and I'm afraid it won't work out. They keep waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, and the perfect confidence, but that moment never comes, so they stay where they are. The second person, however, makes a firm decision. They say, I don't know everything yet, but I'm going to start anyway. I'll learn as I go. I'll work on my business in the evenings and weekends. I'll make sacrifices now for the life I want later. Even though they feel scared, even though they have doubts, they take action. A few years later, the first person is still stuck in the same job, still talking about what they want to do. The second person, they now own a successful business, not because they had more experience, but because they made a real decision and followed through. The truth is, every major breakthrough in life starts with one decision. The decision to stop blaming others. The decision to stop making excuses. The decision to stop waiting for permission. The decision to take control and do whatever it takes to succeed. That's how people change their lives. Not by hoping, wishing, or waiting, but by deciding. So ask yourself, have you made a real decision about what you want in life? Or are you just saying you want it while leaving yourself an easy way out? Because the moment you make a firm, unshakable decision, everything changes. Your mind shifts, your actions align, and success becomes inevitable. It all starts with one decision. My friends, the clock is ticking. Every day you spend blaming others is a day wasted. Every moment you spend making excuses is a moment lost. But today, right now, you have a choice. You can keep pointing fingers or you can take control. You can keep complaining or you can start changing. Because the moment you stop blaming everyone else is the moment you finally start winning. Thank you.